What's up guys, JTails here with another video, and today I want to talk about Legends of Runeterra and everything you need to know about the game if you're interested in playing it. Right now, Legends of Runeterra is in a limited beta period, and you can sign up for the beta with a link I put in the description, and keys are getting sent out at random, so you may or may not get chosen to play it. So if you're interested in signing up for the beta, it takes 1 or 2 minutes. Sign up for your chance to get access to the game. In this game, there are 6 regions that you can mix and match. You can have up to 2 regions in one deck. These regions function like the 5 colors of mana in Magic the Gathering. Every region plays differently and gives you access to different types of cards. If we take Demacia for example, we get access to our hero cards, Lucian, Fiora, Lux, and Garen. Every region has 4 hero cards right now. You get access to unique follower cards. They're called followers, and heroes are cards that level up. So these hero cards level up after you do a certain action with them. Every action to level up your hero is different. So with Garen, if he attacks twice, he levels up and he becomes a 7/7 with regeneration. Fiora, if she's killed 2 enemies, she levels up, and then her win condition becomes when I've killed 4 enemies and survived, you win the game. Freljord has Braum, Ashe, Anivia, and Tryndamere. To level up Braum, he has to survive 10 damage total. Then, whenever he takes damage and survives, he summons a Poro, which is a 3/3. Ionia has Zed, Shen, Yasuo, and Karma. Noxus has Draven, Katarina, Vladimir, and Darius. Piltover and Zaun has Teemo, Ezreal, Jinx, and Heimerdinger. And finally, Shadow Isles has Elise, Kalista, Thresh, and Hecarim. There are a few different ways that you can craft cards. You can either use a wild card to create a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I use a legendary wild card, I can create a legendary card. And if you use shards, which you get from in-game quests, then you can also craft the card as well. Obviously, legendaries are going to be more expensive than common, but the game so far has been fairly generous with how many wild cards you start out with. I don't know if this is because it's a beta, but so far I've been able to craft a good amount of cards and deck to mess around with. One thing this game does very well is that you can hover over almost any icon or keyword and see exactly what it does. This card is from Ionia, and it has elusive. Can only be blocked by another elusive unit. I think that this game is very comprehensive in terms of learning it and understanding its keyword. Even though I have card game experience, I feel like I've been able to learn this game faster than I did with Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering. Every card has a mana cost displayed on the top left, attack power displayed on the bottom left, and health or toughness displayed on the bottom right. Heroes level up, and they also count as minions or creatures, whatever you want to call them. But the difference between them and a regular creature is that regular creatures don't level up. So for example, if we look at the Omen Hawk, it doesn't have any condition with which to level up, but it does have an action when it is summoned from your hand. The third type of card is a spell. Spells only have a mana cost, and what they do is written in the description of the text. There are 4 types of rarity: common, rare, epic, and champion. You can sort by units or spells, or you can filter by mana cost as well. Within the spells, there are 3 different types of spell. Burst spells happen instantly, so this is similar to instant spells in Magic the Gathering. They can't be reacted to before it resolves. Slow spells can only be played outside of combat, so before or after combat happens, the same way that you would play a creature. Fast spells can be played at any point, but the opponent does have time to respond to the spell that you're playing. So the only difference between fast and burst is that fast can have potential counterplay, whereas burst will not. So far, the rewards have been very, very generous. I've gotten a bunch of bundles of cards, and I did all this in a span of about 2 hours. So it seems like they don't want to make it extremely difficult to get cards. So At the beginning of a game, you can mulligan out of 4 cards. It tells you if you act first or second. You can see your opponent's name and which 2 regions they're using, which gives you information on what cards they might be having in their deck. This icon to the left allows you to see previous moves that have been used. So if you need to read a card and you don't know what it does, you can just click right here and it'll be displayed on the side. You start the game with 1 mana, and every turn you gain another mana.
That egg! Did it move? I must get out of here!
Every turn, the player that's attacking and the player that's defending alternate. So now it's my turn and I have 2 mana now, so I can play something from my hand that costs 2 mana. There are 4 states in which cards can be in the game. Either in your hand, on the board, which this is going to go to.
A chill in the air.
Or they can be on the battlefield to declare attackers and blockers. Or they can be in your deck, of course. If you click on your deck or your opponent's deck, you can see how many cards they have left. Every time you take a turn, your opponent can perform an action. So that's something to consider if you want to just attack right away so that your opponent can't keep developing his board as well. This is the initiative system in the game. Your opponent is the one who declares the blockers after you attack, unless you have a keyword called Challenger, which allows you to declare the blockers when you're attacking. So now it's turn 3, and I have 3 mana, and now I'm defending. Since he just played a creature to his board, I can now play a creature to my board. If he didn't choose to do that and he chose to attack instead, I would only be able to defend with my 3/1 and I wouldn't be able to pull anything from my hand into my board. And I think that's really one of the most interesting parts about the game, that knowing when to swing and when to give your opponent the initiative is going to be pivotal. So right now, if I block the 1/1 spider with either of my creatures, they will die, because toughness is displayed on the right. So I can actually apply +1/+1 to one of my creatures, so that I can block the spider on the right and survive this turn. This creature, when he dies, he actually respawns again with +1/+1 every turn. So I actually don't want to block him so that he doesn't come back stronger. So I'm going to take 2 damage to my Nexus. You see on the right, your Nexus is displayed. When it reaches 0 health, you lose the game. So Challenger is that keyword that I was talking about earlier. So now I'm probably going to play this minion in order to eliminate his 3/2 and use Challenger to force him to block. So I can force something from his board into the field even if he's not playing it into the field.
Break their spirits and their
But
soul.
my opponent now has a turn to perform an action. So had I just swung with my 2/3/1s, he would not have been able to play this card. So he just gave it a barrier. Now I'm going to instead swing and declare this one as a blocker so that I can just control the board a little bit more effectively. I should probably talk about spell mana. Any mana that you don't use gets banked at the end of the round into your spell mana slot. This is used primarily for casting spells though. You cannot use it for other creatures. You can have up to 6 creatures on your board or on the field attacking at one point in time. He has 2 mana left, so he can probably use a spell in order to mess up my blocking, but I'm going to go ahead and block this 4/2 as well as this 3/2, and hopefully my 2/4 can survive combat.
This is my opponent?
Okay, my opponent did not use a spell. Senna has quick attack, meaning that she attacks before the blocker gets to attack. This is similar to First Strike in Magic the Gathering. My opponent just played Lucian, which says if I've seen 4 allies die or Senna the Sentinel die, then level up. And I'm in a weird position because I can get rid of the Senna, but then I know the Lucian will level up. So this is kind of the interplay that the game allows for, which is very interesting. So I think we're going to get rid of the Lucian here instead of the Senna. And we're going to force him to block me using Challenger. And obviously we don't want to attack because then we will be swinging into this 2-2, which will get stronger.
No. Lucian! Lucian!
However, Senna gets buffed when she sees Lucian die. Either way guys, the game is beautiful, it gives you tons of rewards and ways to unlock more cards and more packs and stuff like that. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I'd be happy to answer all of them. Definitely subscribe if you're interested in more tutorials on this game. I've been playing Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone for many years. Consider sticking around if you're interested in more tutorials for Legends of Runeterra. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all next time.
Death to all betrayers!